listed in the description of this video. Alright, so on April 18th, 2016, Missy Bevers' body was found at Creekside Church of Christ in, Midlothian, Texas. Bevers' murder garnered significant media attention after Midlothian police released surveillance footage from inside the church. Captured around the time period shortly before Bevers' murder, the surveillance footage shows an unknown person dressed in what appears to be police tactical gear walking around the church's hallways while occasionally breaking glass and opening doors. So this is what I was talking about with the surveillance footage making it even creepier, because you need to look this up if you haven't seen it yet. Just type in Missy Bevers surveillance and it should come up. It's this person in what they said in police tactical gear just walking around, and the way that they walk is very strange as well. And it's like, what was this person doing? It's like it's a game for them, like they're playing cop or something. You can tell the tactical gear is way too big on them, and it's just so bizarre. It's like they're breaking this stuff, like they don't care clearly about making noise and stuff. And I mean, it's just so creepy and weird. You have to watch it. But a lot of people have speculated that it could be a woman, because you can't actually see the person's face clearly, or else we would probably know who it is. But I don't know. I think it's probably a man, but I don't know. I need to look at it closer. But it's very, very creepy and ominous knowing what happened to Missy in the church later on. So, few developments have been made since the investigation commenced, and the assailant remains at large. So, a little background on Missy. She was born Terri. Missy was her nickname, Bevers, and she was born on August 9th. She's a Leo. She does seem like a Leo. I'm sorry if you're not into astrology, but she seemed super fun and outgoing, and she literally woke up for this fitness class in the church where she got murdered. She woke up and went there at like 4 in the morning. Like, she was a go-getter. She was going for it. Anyway, she was born on August 9th in 1970 in Graham, Texas. She got married to Brandon Bevers in 1998, and she was the mother to 3 daughters. The family resided in Red Oak, and she worked as a fitness instructor holding Camp Gladiator boot camps at the Creekside Church of Christ, only 20 minutes away from her residence. So, a little more backstory on Missy. So, I guess actually I'm gonna wait to mention that until after I talk about the murder and the investigation. So, before dawn on April 18th, 2016, there was a heavy thunderstorm in Midlothian. The night before her murder, Bevers informed her students that the fitness class would be held inside the church due to the weather. And, Bevers was last seen on unreleased surveillance footage entering the church at 4:18 a.m. See what I mean? Like, she was up at 4 in the fucking morning. I get up early, but that is, like, dedication right there. And she, so this surveillance footage of her in the church at 4:18 has not been released. And she was just prepping for the fitness class, which was going to start at 5 a.m. Shortly after 5 a.m., a student of Bevers' fitness class entered the church, and they discovered Bevers' body. Emergency services were called, and the crime scene was investigated. She was pronounced dead shortly after the police arrived. So now we're going to get into the investigation. She was found dead with several puncture wounds to her head and chest. A police warrant alleged that these wounds were consistent with tools the suspect was seen carrying throughout the building in the surveillance video. Although police did not confirm whether it was the weapon of murder. The hammer was found alongside other tools near Bevers' body, so the person was carrying a hammer to break the windows and stuff in the video. Police checked the church's surveillance camera system early on during the investigation. Although the cameras outside the church were not functioning on the day of the murder, it always seems like that happens, and unfortunately, it usually really is a coincidence. People don't fucking check these cameras enough at all, and you would think that after this keeps happening, like after it's always like the cameras were turned off, that people would get better about consistently checking their surveillance cameras, but it seems like that just never is changed. Anyways, okay, let's see. Although cameras outside the church were not functioning on the day of the murder, cameras inside the church were functional and the footage was recovered. Surveillance footage at around 4 a.m. appears to show the suspect of an unknown sex and identity walking in the church's hallways while occasionally smashing glass and attempting to open doors lining the church's hallways. The suspect wore what appeared to be SWAT police outfit and tactical gear from head to toe, including a police, in quotes, marked vest, a black helmet, and a black pair of gloves. So yeah, they were wearing a helmet so you couldn't see their face. Bevers was in the midst of transporting her exercise gear from her truck into the church when she presumably encountered the suspect inside the church. Surveillance footage shows Bevers walking down the hallway before her murder. Although this specific footage has not been released to the public by the police, police have also not revealed where they cross paths. It is believed that the suspect murdered Bevers in a violent encounter inside the church. Investigators first believed the suspect to be a male. However, police later changed their position, stating that although the suspect's gait appears to be feminine, the suspect's sex is not known for sure. So I can see how they would think that it's a feminine gait. It does appear that way. I don't know. I honestly have no idea if it was a male or female. Suspect to be. Investigators also made note of the suspect's distinct walking gait. The suspect in the surveillance footage appears to walk slowly, sometimes steadying themselves with the wall, while having trouble moving their right foot or leg. Midlothian police have stated that this distinct gait may have been due to a temporary condition. In 2021, the FBI asked Dr. Michael Nierenberg, a forensic podiatrist, to study the suspect's gait. Nierenberg stated that this person's gait is affected by the weight of the gear and weapons, and that there is no relationship between the gait and gender. Well, there you go. I mean, that's just his opinion, though. He concluded that the suspect's gender cannot be determined solely from their gait. Initially, police considered burglary as a possible motive for the break-in. However, they were unable to find anything missing from inside the church. Initially, police considered... Oh, sorry, I just read that. Whoopsie daisy. Bevers left behind several items, including a purse and iPad. Sources revealed to WFAA that police now believe Bevers was not only targeted, but that the suspect planned to make the crime appear as if it was a burglary gone wrong. One of the warrants filed by police claimed that the suspect possessed a smartphone with which he/she might have stalked Bevers' schedules and recorded her murder. That is fucked up. Additionally, police warrants allege that Bevers received creepy and strange messages from an unknown male on LinkedIn. So this is what I was going to bring up earlier. I was going to say, when I was talking about Missy's background, that there was allegations, I guess, or there was theories that she had some kind of relationship with a guy on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, who communicates on LinkedIn romantically, sexually, whatever, like LinkedIn, really? But I think it seems more like there was just this creepy dude that was into her Facebook or Instagram or something, and then he persisted, he or she, I guess, but this one says unknown male, so they persisted and then found her LinkedIn, and they're like, hey, like, fancy seeing you here on LinkedIn. So I don't know, that's just a little kind of weird additional piece of information. So it says police also believe that Bevers might have conversed with her murderer before the crime. Law enforcement was unable to track down a person of interest who spoke with Bevers on LinkedIn during Bevers' last months, but the person stated that the conversation was ultimately flirtatious and innocent. Bevers' relatives were questioned during the investigation. The alibis of Brandon, Missy's husband, and Randy, who is Missy's father-in-law, were confirmed. Brandon was in Mississippi fishing while Randy was in California traveling. Suspicions were roused when a published search warrant reported Randy 4 days after the murder bringing to a dry cleaner a bloodied shirt. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh. I forgot about this. So, Randy, who is Randy, who is Brandon's father, just brings a bloody shirt to a dry cleaner. Like, dude, throw it away. But the blood, so it says in here too, Randy later explained that the blood was dog blood spilled by 2 dogs fighting. Like, what are the odds of that? It is very strange, but I do think it's a coincidence because I don't think anyone would be that stupid, you know. And it says Midlothian police performed forensic analysis on the shirt and they confirmed it was indeed dog blood. In May 2016, Midlothian police released a still image of what is believed to be a 2010 to 2012 Nissan Altima driving around early morning in the parking lot of SWFA Outdoors, a sports goods store located close to the Creekside Church. The car, which police believed has an oval bumper sticker, pulled into the outdoors store parking lot at around 2 a.m. before leaving just a few minutes later. Midlothian police also were interested in speaking with the unknown owner of this vehicle, but could not get into contact with them. According to the assistant chief, Kevin Johnson, the owner of this vehicle, is not necessarily a suspect, but wants them to identify themselves in case they could help with the investigation. Later in December 2016, the outdoor store released a full surveillance footage from the parking lot. This video shows the vehicle of interest entering the parking lot on the same early morning as the murder, with the driver behaving in a bizarre manner. The driver circles the store's parking lot, flashes the vehicle's headlights randomly, and parks in a scheduled, I'm sorry, I'm reading so shittily right now. It's late, kind of, and I'm tired, so I apologize. Parks in a secluded area for a few minutes before exiting the parking lot onto US Route 287 as of July 2023. Police have not identified the driver and have also not definitively concluded whether or not this vehicle is related to Bevers' killing. I've seen this footage as well, and you can also see this on YouTube, I'm sure, and it's really weird. I feel like there has to be some kind of connection there because it just fits with the way that they were acting in the church as well, just very erratically and bizarrely, and it's like almost like they're killing time, you know? It's very creepy. Initially, a reward was set to $10,000 before doubling to $20,000 and rising to $50,000. As of 2021, there is a reward of $150,000 for information relating to Missy's murder. According to the Midlothian police, tips are received about the case on a daily basis. And as of 2022, a podcast called True Crime Broads discusses the case and as of 2022, a podcast called True Crime Broads discusses the case and was case, the podcast creators also maintain a billboard advertising the $150,000 reward for any information that would help solve this murder. So that is unfortunately the end, because we don't really have any other answers about the killer and why they did what they did, and who they could possibly be. And so people I think a lot of the theories revolve around this person on LinkedIn or some kind of stalker, because she was very active on social media and she was very public, and she would post about these boot camps and stuff, so it's like people could have known where she was and when she was going to be there. So yeah, I mean, obviously this is a very, very strange case, like I said, and I just really hope that eventually more information comes to light to help solve this. And it's just so awful and just so creepy, because it just seems so random. Like, I mean, obviously every murder is awful, but it's like, why? You know, the why is what is so scary with this one. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and like I said, I will probably do a pinned comment with some different video ideas that I have in mind. So